I found out from TMZ literally 2 hours ago that I have been subpoenaed. I'm not crying, you're crying. You were a bad person. Truly, that was that from the bottom of my heart. I think you and Ryan are bad people. There is nobody involved. Nobody has ever been involved in making me come to that conclusion.
Candace Owens has unleashed a revelation that Blake Lively's legal team likely never anticipated. She alleged that Blake's camp leaked news of a subpoena to TMZ before it was even officially served. Imagine discovering you're tied to a serious legal dispute, not through formal court documents, but through a celebrity gossip outlet. This wasn't about pursuing justice. It appeared to be a calculated media maneuver designed to regain control of a narrative slipping away.
This headline, it says that Perez Hilton and me were subpoenaed, and then the ... working with Baldoni.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds seemingly believed they could leverage the press to their advantage, but Candace flipped the script in dramatic fashion. The aftermath of that disclosure was tellingly quiet. One headline even suggested that Perez Hilton and Candace had been subpoenaed, hinting at collaboration with Justin Baldoni. The controversy traces back to Blake Lively, long portrayed as America's polished sweetheart, married to the internet's self-proclaimed comedic favorite, Ryan Reynolds.
It's a fishing expedition because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you.
You know Blake. She seemed confident she could step into court armed with legal terminology and persuade the public she was the target of a sweeping conspiracy involving online critics and content creators. Yet reality and a few outspoken commentators had other plans. The pristine image she worked so carefully to cultivate began unraveling with startling speed. Then came Candace Owens.
Me? Okay, my lawyer. Oh, you're not involved in this lawsuit. Haha, joke's on you, Noah. Joke's on you, because now you've got to read by subpoena and figure out what happens next. I mean, this is crazy times, you guys. It's like we're living in a simulation.
Arguably the last figure Blake Lively expected to enter this Hollywood spectacle. Candace is not one to follow a neatly drafted celebrity narrative, particularly one she views as flimsy. When Blake's legal team attempted to assert control, Candace countered with documentation so pointed it overshadowed even Ryan Reynolds' most energetic Deadpool promotions. Blake may have thought she was steering the storyline.
Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and Andy Senior have all been subpoenaed to turn over any and all communications with Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer parties.
But Candace was prepared to redirect it entirely. Blake's claims of a coordinated smear campaign soon began to resemble satire. She alleged that Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios had joined forces to damage her reputation, as though her public persona had been spotless prior to the controversy. This conveniently overlooked awkward interviews and whispers of diva-like behavior that had already fueled.
Not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios, because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on
online criticism. Her narrative was bound to face scrutiny, and when it did, it unraveled swiftly and publicly. According to Blake's lawsuit, a shadowy alliance across the internet was allegedly conspiring against her. She claimed that Justin Baldoni, who himself is facing a $400 million countersuit, was working with journalists, influencers, and anyone with a Wi-Fi connection to sabotage her career. Rather than acknowledging potential
order earlier this month, allowing Blake to take discovery in order to uncover the alleged lengths, if any, that Baldoni's side may have gone to in working with notable anti-Blake content creators as part of the alleged smear campaign.
The blame was redirected outward. Accountability seemed absent from the equation, replaced instead with sweeping accusations against the digital world at large. The claim struck many as deeply implausible. The situation grew even more peculiar. Blake reportedly sought emails, messages, and documentation referencing her, including conversations about her hair products. Yes, even shampoo and conditioner discussions were allegedly swept into the legal net. It painted a picture of
He knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because
someone intensely fixated on public perception, interpreting casual mentions of beauty routines as evidence of organized defamation. The matter appeared less about justice and more about preserving image at any cost. Ryan Reynolds' involvement added another layer of intrigue. Publicly, he maintains the persona of the witty, relatable husband, promoting aviation gin and reprising his Deadpool charm. Privately, however,
Owens and Senior have all used their sizable digital platforms to discuss case developments, and the trio's commentary has largely hated on Blake's claims while propping up Baldoni.
Critics allege coordinated efforts with media outlets like TMZ to manage fallout from Blake's courtroom challenges. Watching him attempt to balance humor with damage control has drawn comparisons to a strained public relations performance, revealing cracks beneath the polished exterior. Candace detailed how she first learned of the subpoena, not from official channels, but from TMZ. At precisely 2:11 p.m. Eastern, her PR team reportedly received an inquiry requesting comment on a subpoena
Out to see if Ms. Owens has any comment on being subpoenaed in the Lively Baldoni case. Thank you for your time.
She had not yet been served. Discovering alleged legal involvement through a gossip outlet rather than the court system struck many as unprofessional. The optics were difficult to ignore. Within 10 minutes, Candace's team responded, challenging what they described as a premeditated publicity maneuver. 6 minutes later, TMZ published a story complete with dramatic framing and prominent imagery. The notion that an article
And wrote to him, "Hi Ryan, thank you. Can you send a copy of the subpoena to us? Candace has not been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen."
Could be written, edited, fact-checked, and posted in such a short window raised eyebrows. To critics, it suggested a narrative prepared in advance, exposing how quickly Hollywood's media machinery can mobilize. Candace characterized the episode as staged and poorly executed. In her view, it mirrored the broader lawsuit, an attempt to control perception through selective leaks and strategic headlines. Ryan Reynolds, often seen as detached and humorous online,
Been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen what she will be served. Like, obviously, somebody gave this, and by somebody, I mean clearly this is a Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds PR strategy. I've been telling you for a long time.
was portrayed as more involved behind the scenes than his public demeanor suggests. The carefully curated image of the couple appeared increasingly strained under scrutiny. Blake's broader claim that the internet's criticism was the result of an organized conspiracy also met skepticism. Public opinion had already shifted months prior, driven largely by viral interviews and perceived inauthenticity.
By the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni. Like, we read it and we feel passionate about this case, and we're teaming up in the way that every parent and mother and woman and child that has been following this just wants to see justice brought to Justin Baldoni.
No elaborate scheme seemed necessary, critics argued, that the backlash stemmed from audience fatigue with overly polished celebrity branding. Sometimes public sentiment changes organically, especially when authenticity is questioned. Observers pointed to what they saw as mounting desperation, a subpoena allegedly leaked before delivery, headlines rushing to shape perception, and rapid attempts to steer coverage. Meanwhile, Candace continued publicly dissecting.
So first and foremost, right off the bat, you should know what they're saying is stupid. They're putting in this piece, Popcorned Planet and Candace have been covering this lawsuit, and they have not been favorable to Blake Lively. Okay, so
Each development. What began as a lawsuit evolved into a spectacle, an unfolding drama that many viewed as emblematic of celebrity image management under pressure. Candace further fueled debate by sharing her own past communications, asserting that Blake's conspiracy claims lacked substance. The only prior reference she had made to Blake, she noted, was a 2019 message reacting with a heart eyes emoji to Blake's engagement ring. That single interaction was presented, she argued.
Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear
as supposed evidence of deeper coordination. To many, framing a years-old compliment as incriminating proof seemed exaggerated. Between 2019 and August 2024, Candace reportedly made no mention of Blake at all. The absence of commentary undermined suggestions of a sustained campaign. When Blake was eventually discussed, it followed a viral interview in which her tone toward journalist Kirsty Flaw drew criticism. That moment, rather than a hidden alliance, appeared to trigger renewed.
Something must be hidden, because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy. Of course, we are going to say, we're not giving up all the people that gave us information. She knows that I have a source.
Renewed attention. Blake's legal demands extended to communications dated May 1, 2024 onward, after the alleged smear campaign had supposedly taken place. Critics questioned the logic of requesting evidence from a period following the claimed damage. The strategy seemed inconsistent with the timeline presented, raising doubts about the coherence of the argument. Candace labeled the approach a fishing expedition, less about justice, more about intimidation.
What are you trying to prove here? If there's a smear campaign happening against you now? Yeah, we all read your words. We read your messages, we read your Khaleesi Dragons, and we're kind of sickened by the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni.
Reports indicated requests for thousands of emails, including anonymous tips from individuals critical of Hollywood culture. Such demands, critics argued, risked infringing upon journalistic source protections. To them, it reflected urgency to regain narrative control amid a reputational downturn. Still, Candace signaled willingness to comply with requests predating the lawsuit's filing, while refusing to disclose sources.
By your subpoena as it pertains to any time before you filed your lawsuit, but you are not getting access to 10,000 emails for your fishing expedition, so you can find out who leaked to me about Scott Swift. That's
gathered afterward. She framed it as a defense of journalistic integrity. Meanwhile, online discourse continued to amplify scrutiny, demonstrating the internet's long memory when controversies unfold publicly. The legal dragnet reportedly extended beyond primary figures, pulling in YouTuber Andy Signore of Popcorn Planet, despite no clear link to Baldoni or Candace. To observers, equating widespread online criticism.
Feminists are mean. It's just something I've noticed. These modern feminists are mean to other women. So I covered it, 5 minutes of all of 2024, and she thinks that I was part of some inside baseball smear campaign against her. I mean, this is wacky. This is totally...
Hullen with criminal conspiracy stretched plausibility. Each new development, leaks, subpoenas, interviews, reinforced perceptions of escalating damage control. Ironically, the more forcefully Blake attempted to steer the narrative, the more attention the controversy attracted. Efforts to recalibrate public perception appeared to backfire, intensifying scrutiny instead. Ryan's reliance on
women that say that they are feminists and that they love women actually treat other women like crap. And Blake Lively is known to say, I'm a feminist. She's using that as an argument in this lawsuit. And she treated this journalist.
Humor and his Deadpool persona offered little insulation from the broader fallout. What some framed as karma reflected a growing impatience with perceived image manipulation. The saga even drew peripheral figures into the discussion. References to communications involving representatives connected to French President Emmanuel Macron surfaced, alongside commentary about Meghan Markle's own carefully curated public appearances.
November 20th of 2024. It would follow that if you're going to subpoena people, you're going to need messages that took place before you filed the lawsuit saying that it already happened. But look, if they're...
And critics argued that different high-profile names shared a common thread: meticulous image management paired with resistance to accountability. Online audiences, increasingly skeptical, seemed less willing to accept polished narratives at face value. Ultimately, commentators and legal analysts contended that Blake's smear campaign narrative lacked substantiation. When attorney Brian Friedman, representing Justin Baldoni, released materials disputing her claims, public opinion shifted further. The backlash appeared less like a coordinated conspiracy and more like cumulative reaction to unfolding information. Blake's legal strategy, seeking communications about everything from personal rumors to product mentions, was characterized by critics as damage control rather than a quest for justice. As scrutiny intensified, the couple's once immaculate public image faced mounting challenges. The episode stands as a reminder that fame and influence cannot indefinitely shield anyone from accountability. In an era of digital transparency, carefully managed personas can unravel quickly, and even Hollywood's most polished brands are not immune to public judgment.